I like to stretch out the calf a little. So yesterday I went outside to do that. The weather was very nice.
In full view of the general public.
Of everyone coming in.
Passing motorists,
whatever,
people patronizing other businesses.
And that's it. That's where we are. And the gym that I go to is in a little strip mall, and there's a large parking lot behind it and then a bar and grill. You know the area.
Yeah.
You know exactly where I'm talking about. Very popular area in here in North Carolina. So I'm doing my stretches, and people are coming in and out. But I'm pretty early, so there's not many people around. And behind me, to my right...
1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2.
Okay.
Getting stronger,
right.
Getting stronger.
Now, I'm going to say the parking lot behind me is 50 yards until you get to...
It's a big expanse.
The bar and grill. Right. So there's a lot of parking for a lot of different things. And to my right, now I'm facing the gym, looking into it and doing my stretches. And over to my right are train tracks. Okay,
yep.
you know where we are.
I know it, yeah.
And then behind me is a parking lot. So I don't see anything behind me. I'm looking straight into the gym. Okay. Women are starting to gather.
Sure.
Gonna fly now.
Yeah.
1, 2, 1, 2.
Okay. So behind me, what I don't realize is there's a guy walking a dog behind me. And I didn't know that. I didn't see him. So I heard the dog scream and yelp. Out of nowhere, just without even knowing there was a dog there. So I turned to look, and there's a guy. The dog is now on his back, sort of on his side and back, and the guy goes, rah, 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 and he is screaming at the dog and pointing at the dog. And I'm just staring at him. And the dog gets up, and they continue to walk on at a real leisurely pace. Well, now they're coming toward me, but still a good ways away to the right where the train track. And I kept looking at him. I just kept looking at him. I was like, what just happened? You know, what did he do? I mean, it's pretty obvious to me he either beat the dog or kicked the dog, as the dog was really screaming and yelping. And he got fairly close to me, probably 20 feet away. And I don't even know why I was looking at him. I was just so curious as to what happened. And he said, why don't you mind your own GD business if you know what's good for you? To me, he screamed it at me. And when someone issues a challenge like that to me, you know what I did.
Sure.
I went inside the gym.
Back down. Get behind the women and children.
But right as he said that to me, another guy who goes to the gym, who I know fairly well, was getting out of his car and walking past me, and he goes, what was that? And I said, well, that was for me. That guy just beat his dog.
Oh, it's for me.
Yeah. I did. I said, that guy just beat his dog and screamed at me.
Big fan.
And
You'd be surprised how often that happens.
I said, anytime you see that happen, that's always for me. But I didn't do anything, and I was like, what would I do? You know, the guy, and by the way, the guy was big and pretty tough looking. I mean, he was a tough looking guy walking through a parking lot and the dog was a large, I think it was a Rottweiler. But whatever he did to that dog, it just, God, it infuriated me.
But you don't know.
But what can you do? And I don't know. But the dog, I didn't see it, but he yelped and was down on his back when I turned. And the guy I saw him scream at him. And then I just looked at him, and he goes, you better mind your own GD business if you know what's good for you.
It's such a scenario because, of course, and everybody in their head is going, I'd have said you had. Yeah.
Well,
and I don't believe that because I don't think what you did was wrong. I mean, the dog makes a noise that's going to make anyone turn and look.
Oh, of course.
So
sure. Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
But the hothead, that dude, I think you played it right because that type of person, that's a hothead. And by the way, that dog, he would have sicked the dog on you.
Perhaps. Well, you know what I always think is what we always talk about in here. He might have shot me.
You don't know how crazy.
Yeah, especially that level of crazy to me. If you did like kick your dog in public, that's right there's a sign of crazy. And then B, just his whole, what are you looking at? Yeah, that's a crazy person.
It just made me, I don't know, it just disgusted me for the rest of the day.
Oh yeah, of course. Because you don't want to see that or hear that.
I was disgusted at what he did. I wish I could have done something. I felt like I should have stood up and done something. But what?
But I hate to be that guy, but there's a missing piece of the story.
What happened?
Oftentimes, I mean, I have seen people discipline their dogs. Now, some people go over the line, but maybe the dog did something it shouldn't have done that he didn't want the dog to do.
Well, probably.
Bite somebody, chase somebody, go after something. Who knows?
And who knows? He could have, look, my dog, I've tripped over my dog, and it'll make that yelp noise, and you feel terrible. So you don't know. It could have been something as easy as the dog maybe, tripped him up.
Well, he's
And
yelling
he
at
fell
him.
on. Oh, he was yelling?
I mean, he yelled. First it was, "Arr!" And then I turned, and he's standing over dog, pointing at him, going, "You blah, 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 blah," but I couldn't make out what he was saying. And then as he got closer to me, I just kept looking, like quizzical, like a dog myself.
Yeah.
Looking.
Raised one ear.
And he said, "You better mind your own business if you know what's good for you." And what I wanted to say is, why don't you come make me mind my own business? But then if he
say it to my face.
If he did,
Yeah.
I was going to go run behind Coach Kathy because that. I literally thought, I'll scurry in here and I'll have an hour.
The only way I would have said something if I was you is if I had a gun.
Right.
Because, I think carrying that gun would have given me the bravado to be like, what did you just do to... Because he says, what are you going to do?
Nothing.
Here's my gun.
Yeah, right.
But if I'm just unarmed, dressed to go to the gym, and some dude's like, won't you mind your own business? I'd have done exactly what you did because you just don't know.
I am going to stretch your calf.
Yeah.
Oh, you go feel this.
Oh, man, you're going to be sore tomorrow.
Feel this.
Yeah.
Oh.
You know what? It might kick in tonight. You might think, why do I need an Advil? It's the calf stretcher. That guy got me good.
Oh boy, I was ready to take him out, but I just didn't do anything. And the rest of the day, I just thought, here's a guy that I think he kicked or beat.
No one
his
else
dog.
saw anything?
There was nobody else there. It was just me in the parking lot, and I was early. Usually, I show up about quarter till. I like to get a particular treadmill, and the first one there gets to choose his treadmill, and so usually I'm first or second there.
Oh, look who's already here. Old treadmill 1.
That's right. I'm on treadmill 1. I like to be on 1. If I'm not on 1, I like to be on 12. They're on either end,
Oh, the ends.
Yeah, I like to be on the end. And so if I get there first, I'll get 1. If I get there second, I'll get 12. Usually I'm one of the first couple there. So there's just a couple of people inside, but outside there was nobody. But then again, as the guy got closer to me, somebody got out of their car and was beside me, and he said, "Mind your own GD business if you know what's good for you."
Yeah, but you'd missed.
Oh, he missed all of it.
The real event.
Yeah,
and
see, if it had been 2, I think you might have felt more bravado to say something.
Maybe, or I would have taken the lead. I wish my friend Mike, young Mike, had been there the day before. We had been out there stretching together.
Oh.
So yeah, I think 2 on crazy. I'll take
1 on crazy.
Yeah,
but he still might have a gun or a knife.
I mean, what can Later, I thought, I should have gone over to him and said, "I can see you're upset. Why don't we talk about it? Think about it.
What's your dog's name?"
Yeah, what's your dog? Why would you?
Killer.
How did he get that name?
Like, I'm going to go on the record. I think probably half of dog owners probably shouldn't have their dogs.
You're probably right. But what I should have said was, let's think about not putting your hands or your feet on your dog in the future, if that is indeed what you did. And I'd like to invite you in here to take a terrific cardio class. On me.
First one's free.
Why don't you come on in? We do some cardio. We do some weights. You and I can train together. You can be right beside me. I'll be on 1. You be on 2. But
just tie your dog to my car.
Right.
Yeah.
I froze and didn't do anything, which is probably the best thing because it was quite an interaction. Robert, you have a similar story. Go ahead.
Good morning, Kelly. About 1 or 2 months ago, man, I was at a local park here in the Triad, and very similar stuff was happening. What you're talking about, yelling, and even thought of seeing a hand go down on the dog's head or nose, and somebody else saw it as along with me, and it was reported. The gentleman reported it to the head of the Parks and Rec about it, and it's actually cruelty to animals because maybe nothing was going on in your situation, but it's the way people treat their dogs these days, and you see on the news and stuff, man, you can't take anything for granted.
Man, it's horrible. Well, I'm 95% sure he hit or kicked that dog. That dog yelped in a lot of pain, and when I turned around, the dog was in a defensive, on his back position, and the guy's standing over him screaming at him. So I'm almost positive he did something to him. I didn't see it, but what are you going to do? Call the police? That's not going to work. He's walking through a
nothing
park.
to say.
No, I got nothing to say. A guy might have hit his dog. A guy might have kicked his dog. It's a tough situation. I mean, your report to the head of the Parks and Rec, if we'd been in a park, I could have said, this guy, I think, just hit his dog. Hard, though. Hard situation. Thank you very much, Robert. I just don't know. I just felt like I don't know. I felt so emasculated for the rest of the day. I just felt so weak for the rest of the day because I didn't or couldn't do anything. I think this guy probably mistreats his dog. And when he screamed at me, I just walked inside like a little nothing. But then again, what are you going to do? Fight a guy on the street in front of World of Beer? I'm not going to do that.
No.
What am I going to do? Invite him over to Brick's Pizza and fight the guy?
At the delightful Italian dessert place?
Can't do that. It's a fine place. It's a fine place.
The delightful Italian bakery?
Yeah, I could have said, listen, I got a class here in an hour.
Yeah.
Why don't we meet over at Chipotle and the two of us can sit down and hash
Can I buy
out.
you some chicken salad, chick? They have new melts.
No, none of that. I just wasn't going to do it. So, but it bothered me the rest of the day, just to see that.
Yeah, and that's just
Ugh, I can't. I didn't like the whole guy's attitude. I thought, what's going on with you? You know what? I mean, you got this dog, and he probably hits him or kicks him.
Well, and it goes back to I think people are just angry now.
Yeah, it was just bothersome for me the rest of the day. But I didn't want to bring it in here on a Friday, and here I've done it. Here I am.
Yeah, it happens. That's real life.
As you said, you go serious and bring it in here on a Friday for the first part of the day. I'll ask Dave what he would have done when he comes in.
No,
He'd have wandered over to the World of Beer.
Yeah,
we can just skip that. So, you do that a lot, and sometimes I think we can just skip that part. Let's wait till Dave gets here and ask.
He'll sort this out.
Yeah, and he never does.
No.
I mean, we call him the fence rider.
Right? Yeah, he never.
I don't know what I would have done.
Doesn't ever sort out a darn thing. That's
Or he might reference some television show in the 1940s where they kicked dogs.
Yeah. Well, back then they did. That was.
Speaking of which, yesterday got an email, like 2 emails to get to today. We were talking about, Biggie had his movie review yesterday. It was Tremors. Biggie's doing 31 days of reviews, all horror movies. Yesterday was Tremors, which he said was just okay, and he gave it 5 pumpkins, and I completely agreed. I saw it way back when it was in the theaters. But we got us to talking about Kevin Bacon movies and the movies he had been in, and he was in Wild Things, which is Chris Demm and I saw together, and it had a lot of beautiful women in it. And I was saying that Matt Dillon was in that movie, and Matt Dillon did this and that. Well, later, I got an email, and I have to tell you, Dave would appreciate this. Now, this I will, I think, share with Dave when he gets here. But Matt Dillon, of course, is an actor who's been in 100 movies. Something About Mary. I mean, the list goes on and on.
Talented guy. Seems likable.
Very good. I think a good actor. I agree. Seems likable. So I just was talking about Matt Dillon being in that movie also. So an email from a P1, Josh, who says, somebody let Chris Kelly know he's way off on his movie references. I guess.
No, we saw that movie.
Yeah, we saw it. And he says, Chris Kelly does know in that pea brain of his, doesn't he, that Matt Dillon was on Gunsmoke and not in a movie with Kevin Bacon. I think Matt Dillon was pretty dead by the time Wild Things came out. Well, I have to tell you, Josh, that Matt Dillon was the name of the character on Gunsmoke, played by James Arness, who, yes, was dead.
Yes.
But you're way mixed up on that. I mean, that's as mixed
That's the craziest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, that's as mixed up as anything you're going to get. Matt Dillon versus Matt Dillon. Okay. And Dave would appreciate that because
the mixing up of the Matt Dillons.
Yeah, Dave's a Gunsmoke man. And when I read that, I thought, he's not serious, is he? He cannot.
There's no LOL at the bottom?
No, he was correcting me like, hey, dumbass.
Yeah.
Matt Dillon was in Gunsmoke. He certainly wasn't in Wild
He
Things.
lived in Dodge City. Hello.
No.
Now, see, that person, you can come back at. That one you're okay. You can send back, are you serious on that?
Yeah, that's more my speed.
Yeah.
I'm in the right. I'm not face to face.
Yeah.
There's none of that.
Just send him an IMDb page.
Right. Here you go.
Yeah.
A picture. A picture.
This is Matt Dillon.
A picture of Matt.
This is Matt Dillon.
Matt Dillon, played by James Arness. I tell you something else. A lot of people sent me this. I'm planning or trying to live to be 100. I do it. That's why I stretch my calves. That's why I go to that gym. All of those things.
Ask any centenarian.
That's right. That's what you have
Calves.
to do. Calves, stretch, gym, workout, whatnot. There's a man in Pennsylvania, Boalsburg, Pennsylvania. He's in the final days of training for a 50-mile relay race. He is 103 years old in a 50-mile relay race. George Etzweiler training for the mountain bike 50-mile relay race happening this weekend. And he's been training 3 days a week doing his 4 mile stretch. Now he does
He's
4
doing
miles.
4
he does
miles?
4 miles of it. Yeah, he's doing 4 miles of that stretch. His group is called the Old Men of the Mountains. He's the leader and the oldest at 103. His son Larry, who's 78, is also an old man of the mountains, and he'll be running a 6 mile stretch of this mountain run that they're doing. And his son says he's been running since he was 49 years old, so he's now at 54 years, and he rarely misses a day.
Is that when the running boom took off?
Well, let's think now. He was that's 50,
that was the early 70s,
early
right?
70s.
That was when running became a thing.
That was
and
big.
A lot of people.
The 70s were the time.
That'll be me.
That'll be you. When you're 49,
Bingo.
you're going to start running. And
The man of the mountain.
And when you're 103.
That will be me, because my nightmare is to live to be over 100.
That's right. And if you keep on doing it.
Yeah.
He was a Navy man, Penn State professor, is a Navy man, Penn State professor, and holds world records. The Washington Road Race is a 7.5 mile climb, and he's done it for several years in a row, so he's the oldest ever to do that. As you can imagine, he does 4 mile stretch of it, and this year he'll just add to his record.
How Twilight Zone is this? What if Kelly, unfortunately, you don't get close to make it to a 100? Biggie, who doesn't want to,
Gets there.
is forced to live to be like 110.
That is my nightmare.
That's right. Wouldn't that be?
Yeah, my nightmare is to live to be like close to 100.
We should have like a parallel universe story of you two.
The ultimate irony. The ultimate Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
That's it.
Like you die in a bizarre calf stretching accident. But your spirit gets to watch Biggie, and your spirits can still commune.
Right.
Oh.
And my calf stretcher kills me.
Yeah, like all this time, it'll be like, actually, your fat preserved your body. So once you trim the fat off, it's like a whole new you.
That's it. Right.
You fall like face forward into a pane glass window and slashes your jugular off your calf stretcher.
God, if that's the way
I think we got the first act.
When
right
I
there.
get to heaven, I'm just going to say, why? Why would you do this to me? Here, I fell off a calf.
Look at these calves.
Sliced my jugular after falling off a calf.
Look at 100-year-old Biggie still down there.
What's he doing there?
He doesn't even want to be there.
The ultimate irony. That's exactly right.